Recording in progress. Let's let every oh my god, the cat is just chilling. All right, let's let everybody in here. We had at least one person in the waiting room. There we go. Okay, cool. So we'll let everybody get hooked up to their audio. It takes a minute sometimes. Mitzi, I hate to break it to you, but we're gonna need those. We're gonna need those pillows. Okay. Anyway. Still connecting to audio. Okay. So while she's connecting, I will let everybody watching the recording know that this is, well, you could probably guess by the title, this is class 4 of our restorative yoga series. So, still connecting to audio. Okay. Yep, class 4 of our restorative yoga series. So now would be a good time, if you haven't already, to grab all of your props, yoga blocks, grab your pillows, blankets are good. Yeah, in here we just make do with what we have. So if you don't have official yoga bolsters and blocks, we will make it work. But just grab as many things as you can, kind of, because restorative yoga is all about propping it up and making it nice and comfortable as possible. So we can really sink into these poses, get really nice and deep in those stretches, and feel good. So, yep. Okay, so it looks like everybody's connected. Tim's not going to be joining us today, so it's just going to be us. So yeah, I guess that means we can get started. Okay, I thought that was something else. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to kick you out, I think. Sorry. Anyways, we'll start with our centering in meditation. So you can take this time to find a nice, comfortable seated position, and I am going to flip open to a random page of my Magical Inner Journeys book. And the cat licking me is very distracting. But anyways, we'll just have to ignore that. So I'm going to flip to a random page, and then that is the meditation that we're going to get today, which I think is the best way to do things. So, okay, good. This one is really long, so I'll have to, get with it. All right. So this meditation is called Touching Peace. So again, take this time here to find a nice, comfortable seated position, whatever that means to you. I'm actually going to sit in like this. Find a nice, comfy seated position. Maybe gently close the eyes. We're going to slowly start to settle in, enjoying this guided meditation to kick off our class. Touching peace. If it feels good, take a deep breath in and out. And just give your body permission to relax and be comfortable for this next little while. Allow your body to experience the contact that it makes with the chair or with the floor. And let it adjust itself in any way it needs to in order to be a little bit more comfortable. Shifting any part of you that needs to move for that settled feeling of You can close your eyes when it feels safe and comfortable to do so, or you might choose to keep a soft gaze downwards. As you tune into the rhythm of your breathing, imagine that when you inhale, you're inhaling a little bit of the sky. And it's very clear and very refreshing. And as you exhale, imagine that you're letting go of whatever you don't need right now. Inhaling the light, clear sky. Exhaling that which does not serve you right now. Letting the rhythm of your breath be just what it is. A simple and beautiful process of taking in what's fresh and clear and letting go of what's no longer needed. Each breath you take relaxes and refreshes you. Your breathing and your mind are becoming clearer and clearer. Your body is relaxing a little bit more with each inhale and exhale. Allowing your imagination to be open and receptive. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out. I invite you to take a little journey now, a magical journey to your inner world where you are always safe, where everything is exactly as it should be. And in your imagination, if you choose, take yourself to a large, beautiful lake. You find yourself walking around the shore of the lake. The sky is clear. Noticing if it is daytime or nighttime. Is the sun shining? Or is the moon luminescent on the water? What are you noticing here besides the water? What sounds do you hear? What scents are sweet to inhale? Noticing how your body feels near this lake. Maybe your body feels looser. Maybe you feel more relaxed in your body. Or maybe it's feeling something else. Let it all be okay. Noticing without judgment. Take a moment to pause and look at the water that makes up this inner lake. Now, using your imagination, if you choose to, go ahead and step into the water or stay on the shore if you choose that. Give yourself permission to step into the shallow water or to stand on the edge of it. If you are choosing to enter the lake, know that it doesn't matter what you are wearing because this is an inner journey. So just stepping into the water and now continuing to walk out to the center of the lake. If you want to swim to the center of the lake, that's okay too. This is all happening in your own imagination. So you can give control whatever happens here. Like a lucid dream, you are in control. The waters are safe. You are safe. And if you are standing on shore, perhaps you can just watch yourself walking to the center of the lake, like an out-of-body experience, looking at yourself from above. Or you can choose to meander around the edge of the lake for the next little while and see what there is to see. Now, if you are in the lake, when you find yourself in the middle of the lake, go ahead and dive down, down, all the way down to the bottom of your warm, calm lake. As you slip through the water, you are surrounded by a profound silence. And you are awed to see that the bottom of the lake bed is carpeted with beautiful white pearls. If you want to, go ahead and lightly touch one of those pearls now. Simply touch it, knowing that as you are touching it, you are touching a deep peace that always is. Knowing that you are touching a deep peace that always lives inside of you. Now picking up just one of these shimmering pearls and holding it in your hand. As you do so, the knowledge comes to you that anytime your world becomes chaotic or out of control, you can dive deep down right here in this inner lake and touch peace. Because peace lives right here inside of you all the time, just waiting for you to sense and feel and touch it. If you want to hold on to this pearl that you have picked up, you can do so, knowing that there are many more for you to find when you return. And now you are swimming back up to the surface of the lake and swimming or walking back to the shore, bringing yourself back to dry land now. Drying yourself off by the water's edge. And now spending a few more moments in silence near your beautiful inner lake. Remembering that all you need to do to touch peace is to dive or float down into its center. Now it's time to start thinking about leaving your inner lake. So I invite you to focus a little more closely on the sound of my voice. Following the sound of my voice back to this present moment. Paying attention once again to your breath. Breathing a little more deeply and consciously. Remembering that you are not just in your imagination, but that you are in a body as well. You might want to shift on the floor or on the mat, stretch your body in any way that feels good to you right now. Taking a few moments here, maybe taking a few deep cleansing breaths if that feels good. And when you are ready to do so, opening your eyes, taking your time, remembering that all is well. And whenever we feel ready to continue, we are going to move forward into our first restorative poses. Kitty. Okay. Now we can move forward into our next restorative poses. So we are going to move into a supported half pigeon pose. So a few weeks ago now, several weeks ago, it might have been the week or two before we started our restorative series. We introduced pigeon pose, which was a newer pose for this class. Some people watching the recording might be a little more familiar with pigeon pose. It can be a common one that is taught in some classes. So it might be new to you, might not be. But essentially what pigeon pose is we have one leg bent. So I'll do this on my right side first. I'll just do a quick little demo. Let me move these pillows out of our way. So first I'll just demo it quick without props, and then we will introduce props to get this nice and comfortable. So we have our right leg bent. Maybe I'll do, I don't know what would be better to see. I'll do the right leg. So we have the right leg bent in front of our body. And then we have our left leg stretched straight behind us. If it feels better, you can have that leg bent or stretched straight as much as you want. And then I'll swing forward. Let me just bend this down a little bit. So when we have our front leg bent, you can either have your leg maybe at this 90-degree angle, or it'll decrease the stretch that you're feeling if you have that front foot closer in towards your body. So you can play around with that a little bit, and just see the different positions that you can place your body in and how that's going to feel differently. Make the pose feel more comfortable or less comfortable. So this pigeon pose can be a tricky one, which is why it's really nicely done as a restorative pose, because the more pillowed up you can get, the more comfortable it typically is. I would recommend for most people, even in just like a regular yoga class that doesn't emphasize props, to use props for pigeon pose. For most people's body, that's going to work better. So what I'm going to do to bolster this up is I'm going to fold, I'm taking just like a regular bed pillow, and I am going to fold this pillow in half. A yoga bolster, if you have one of those, is also really awesome in this position. And I'm going to put it right under my hip. So I'm going to kind of get into this pigeon pose. And then I'm going to lift my hip up, and I'm going to wedge this pillow right under my hip to kind of lift that up. Another good pillow location is to kind of put this pillow under the ankle and under the shin bone, and situate yourself like this. Another good prop is to take a yoga block if you have one and wedge that under your hip. So essentially what we're trying to do here is just lift up the legs as much as possible to get really nice and comfortable in this pigeon pose. And then from here, what's really nice, I'm gonna run out of space here. Okay. So again, you can have that back leg kind of bent if that feels more comfortable, or you can have that back leg stretched straight, and maybe even putting a pillow on this, under this back foot, the back ankle, kind of just to completely elevate you and create sort of like a cloud that you're resting on. And then from here, once you get really nice and comfortable and all pillowed up here, folding forward over that front leg can also feel really nice. So this can be another spot for a prop. If you want to put a pillow on top of your leg, kind of sandwiching your leg in pillows. So you have a pillow on top of the leg, and then resting on top of that pillow Letting the upper body come all the way forwards, maybe resting on the forearms here or stretching the arms straight in front. Letting the head relax down. And taking some nice deep breaths here, breathing into the position. Settling in here. So as you get nice and comfortable in this pose, and hopefully with all of your pillows and props, you are feeling really comfortable here, you can kind of start to really relax and release into this posture. Move my camera. That's probably why. Okay. And with each breath you take, seeing if you can sink a little bit deeper into this position. Letting go of everything, letting everything release. And whenever you feel ready here, we're slowly lifting up from the position. Let's take a nice deep breath here at the top. Again, taking your time, nice, slow, gentle transition before we slowly start to move out of this posture. So if you're watching a recording of this live stream, I invite you to pause the video as you need to, and maybe even setting a timer if you really want to get even on both sides, evenly even. Some people, especially with the restorative, holding poses for a few minutes, they like to make sure they're getting an even amount of time on both sides. So you can absolutely feel free to utilize the pause feature if you're watching the recording of this video. So now we're gonna move over to the left side once you're ready, or the opposite side that you didn't just do. So we're slowly kind of, let me move forward so plenty of space. So again, what I like to do is take that one folded up pillow under my hip and then swing my leg forward, situate my pillows so that they make sense, right? I like to keep my legs stretched straight. This would be a nice, I'm running out of props here, but even to lift that knee up behind, that would be really nice. I might do that with, just to show you guys a different variation. So. Right, and then kind of just come forward once you feel nice and comfy here. And again, feel free, typically in our half pigeon, we're keeping that back leg straight, but feel free to kind of bring a bend to that back knee, just letting it relax. And letting your upper body release forward. Nice deep breaths here. Melting, melting, melting down. And then going to slowly start to transition out of this position. Taking a nice deep cleansing breath here at the top. And slowly unfolding our way out of this pose. Let me see. So, and again, like I said, no rush, nice, slow, gentle transitions. But from here, we're going to start to transition into a supine position. So coming onto a position, laying down on the mat, on your back, however, is best for you. And first, right, so we are going to be doing our fish pose, a supported fish pose. This has been, and I said this in the Telegram chat too, this has been like a must-do pose for my third trimester, especially the past 3 weeks, or not 3 weeks, past few days before I got my last chiropractic adjustment. It was like saving my life because I was having really shooting sharp pains in my back. So I'll show you a couple different variations. I will say the supported fish pose is a little bit more intense. I'll just show you what it is. So essentially, we're going to take a yoga block. This variation really only works with a yoga block. I would recommend a either like a styrofoam, even like a piece of styrofoam that's like kind of this shape and size would be okay, as long as it's more sturdy, or one of these foam yoga blocks. I will also show you a variation with pillows that is less aggressive, I guess. Not like any yoga poses is really aggressive, but you know what I mean. A little bit more gentle. So basically, we want this kind of in the center of our back. So there's 2 ways that you can have the yoga block. I like it like this. This will give a really nice arch in the back while we're doing that fish pose, and you'll see that in a second when I demo it. Or you can flip it the other way, so it's more flat. So first I'll show you the way I like it. So this is how I set this up, is I have my block, and then I kind of do a little demo to see what part of my spine that bottom piece is going to be, and then you can kind of like assess where the block's going to rest against the rest of your spine. Where you want it is completely up to you. Mid to upper back when we're doing fish pose, because you want that. Let me just demo a regular fish pose, that might be helpful. So fish pose is supine, just like we're in Shavasana or corpse pose. And then fish pose is you're arching your back, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling, kind of squeezing your shoulder blades together, and you're like creating like a concave shape in your upper back. So when we do our supported fish pose, same thing, just it's supported with a block. And it feels really, really good, honestly. Like I said, it's been saving my life. So to me, that's too high. So I guess, yeah, maybe even sometimes it's in like the lower back range. So this is what I get. I'm trying to show you guys. You can also, sometimes I like to, the couch is in my way, but sometimes I like to reach my arms up above my head and get like that chest opening, underarm stretch. Sometimes that can feel nice. Typical fish pose, you have your arms out to either side of your body. So this, and it just applies pressure to the spine. That for me feels really, really good. So this is one variation. Like I said, you can flip your block so it's flat and you have the wide part against your back, and that can feel a little bit more supportive and less intense with that arch if you don't have a lot of flexibility in your spine. Sometimes that block is just like way too high up. So this can be a nice variation. And then also, you can also put some pillows behind you. This maybe wouldn't necessarily be considered a fish pose, but this is another restorative pose. And you can even, if you set it up the right way, like how I have that top pillow kind of closer to my bum, closer to my sacrum, and then I have those other pillows that are further out, you can create a way that your head can arch back. So if you have the top pillow closer to your sacrum and then the other two pillows closer to your head, if that makes sense, you will create a natural arch in your neck here, and your head will kind of fall back. So you'll feel a little stretch in your throat going into your chest. And this can be a nice, like more of a relaxing, it's less intense than the yoga block. I could totally understand how most people would maybe think that the yoga block is like way too much wedged into their spine, especially if you have any sort of spinal issues. I should also mention that another nice variation here, especially if you have a sensitive back or any sort of spinal injury, spinal issues, bent legs with the bottoms of the feet pressing down into the mat, into the floor. That's going to really relieve some of the pressure on your back. You can let the arms fall out to the side, maybe squeezing the shoulder blades together a little bit. And whatever variation of this position you found yourself in, let's just take a few minutes here to really sink in, enjoying this posture. Maybe drawing a few deep breaths into the body and just letting yourself melt down into the floor. Enjoying this time here. And whenever you feel ready, gonna slowly roll onto the side body. Taking your time, and whenever you feel ready, you can slowly start to come back up into a seated position. We're gonna do one more pose before we leave. Let's see what we have for time. Good, perfect. So we're gonna come into a child's pose, nice, easy bonus pose for us. You can either just come into a child's pose with no props, wide leg or knees together. This is a really nice, I love child's pose, who doesn't? But just to demo some props, you can take yoga blocks under your hips, stack one or two under the hips, and then come forward like that. A lot of people like that in all their child's poses. Or you can take a few pillows right in front of you on the mat or on your thighs and release forward onto those. I am just going to do a no prop child's pose. Nice wide legs, obviously. And releasing forward over the mat, letting the forehead press down either onto those pillows, onto the yoga block, or just onto the floor. In here, let's use that breath to relax your body, releasing into this position. Soaking up every last drop of this relaxation here in this position. Really enjoying this time, this space to release and relax. Letting go, surrendering to the moment. And whenever you feel complete here, I invite you to stay in this position as long as you'd like. But whenever you feel complete, you can slowly start to work your way out of this position. Coming back into any comfortable seated position for the closing of our class. Maybe keeping your eyes gently closed here, staying in this meditative state for a little bit longer. Allowing the breath to circulate in and out of your body. And slowly start to lift your hands up into prayer at the heart center, gently bowing the head. Satnam and Namaste. All right. So that was class number 4 of our restorative yoga series. The first 3 classes of this series are already uploaded to the live stream section on the membership. And right now, once we complete the Zoom call, I will upload this 4th class. And then next Thursday, right? Next Thursday, we will be doing class number 5 of our restorative series. And then I think that's it. I think we're doing 5. We might do 6. We'll see. So it's kind of a surprise. But next week, we will definitely be doing restorative yoga again. So I don't think I have any other announcements, but like usual, check the Telegram for anything new. And have a good night.